Imagine this. You're standing in a supermarket, looking for a tube of toothpaste. There are dozens of options in front of you. You randomly pick one. 3 weeks later, you realize the toothpaste tastes like salmon. Here it go again. We keep making stupid decisions and don't even know why. You think you're a rational person? Bad news. Your brain is a born trickster. It makes you pick the wrong partner 3 times in a row, buy stuff you'll never use, and worst of all, repeat the same mistakes in an endless loop. But don't worry. In this video, we'll expose 6 bizarre psychological traps that keep making you choose wrong. And most importantly, how to hack your brain to stop self-sabotaging. Ready? Because after this video, you might never make decisions the same way again. 1. The Dunning-Kruger effect. When you think you know everything. Let's be honest. Have you ever made a decision and felt absolutely confident it was the right one? Like picking a new job, only to realize your boss is the living version of Voldemort? Or signing up for an online course, only to quit after 3 days because it's as hard as solving quantum equations? Congratulations! You've just been a victim of the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect explains that the less you know, the more you think you know. Inexperienced people tend to overestimate their abilities, while truly skilled individuals often doubt themselves. This is why you once thought you'd be great at cooking on your first try, only to end up creating something that looked like a failed experiment. When you feel overly confident about a decision, ask yourself, do I really have enough knowledge, or do I just know a little? Is there someone better in this field that I can learn from? Am I ignoring any warning signs? Once you acknowledge that you might be wrong, you'll start making smarter decisions. But hold on! There's another trap that makes you choose wrong without even realizing it. 2. The sunk cost fallacy. When you don't know when to quit. Have you ever been in a situation like this? You're watching a terrible movie, but sit through it just because you paid for the ticket. You're dating someone even though you know they're not right for you, but you stay because it's been 3 years. You spent 10 hours working on a presentation only to realize at the last minute that it's terrible, but you still present it because you put in too much effort. This is the sunk cost fallacy, also known as the can't let go effect. When you feel trapped by this effect, ask yourself, if I hadn't already invested time, money into this, would I still choose it? What's worse, accepting a small loss now or continuing and losing even more? Letting go might hurt, but will holding on hurt even more? Having the courage to abandon a bad decision might be the smartest decision you ever make. But there's still another psychological trap, one that makes you think you're making the right choice, when in reality, you're being manipulated. 3. The confirmation bias. When you only believe what you want to believe. Have you ever met someone who's ridiculously stubborn, even when the truth is right in front of them? Maybe you've been that person too. You research a product, but only read positive reviews while ignoring all the warnings. You want to believe you're great at communication, so you only remember the good conversations and forget the awkward social fails. You think your crush likes you, so you interpret everything they do as a sign, even though they're just being polite to everyone. This is the trap that makes you focus only on information that supports your beliefs while ignoring or distorting anything that contradicts them. Your brain hates being wrong. It will do everything it can to defend what you already believe, even if it's completely wrong. The problem is, this bias can seriously mess with your decision-making. You believe bad financial advice just because it matches what you want to hear. You stay in a toxic relationship because you only focus on the good moments. You pick the wrong career path because you only look for reasons to justify your decision. Want to make better decisions? Ask yourself, am I deliberately ignoring information that contradicts my belief? Am I only looking for things that support what I already think? If an outsider looked at this, what would they see? When you learn to accept uncomfortable truths, you'll start making smarter decisions. But wait! There's still something silently manipulating all your choices: the framing effect. 4. The framing effect. When the way it's said changes the way you think. You prefer yogurt labeled 90% fat-free over one that says contains 10% fat, even though they're the same. You'd be more willing to undergo surgery with an 80% survival rate, but hesitate if it's described as having a 20% death rate. A policy called reducing unemployment sounds much better than increasing support for the unemployed, even though they mean the same thing. This is the framing effect. Your brain doesn't just care about the content. It's also influenced by how that content is presented. So, how does this affect you? You get manipulated by product ads without even realizing it. You make bad decisions just because one option sounds better, not because it actually is better. Next time before making a decision, ask yourself, if they phrased it differently, would I think differently? Is this actually better, or does it just sound better? If the wording were flipped, would I still believe in this decision? Looking at issues from multiple angles will help you avoid being manipulated and make smarter choices. But there's still another trap that makes you think you have enough information to choose wisely, when in reality, you're making decisions based on very incomplete data. 5. Survivorship bias. When you only see what survives. Have you ever heard this before? Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and Steve Jobs all dropped out and became successful. So college isn't important. Or, rich people wake up at 5 a.m. So if you want to be rich, set your alarm now. If these statements were true, what about the millions of dropouts who failed? Or the ones waking up at 4 a.m. but still broke? You hear about million-dollar startups, but no one talks about the 90% of businesses that fail within the first 5 years. You see social media influencers, but you don't see the millions of people posting every day without getting any attention. You hear about people getting rich from investing, but no one mentions those who lost their entire savings. The reason is simple. Successful people speak up, while failures stay silent. Not because they're ignorant, but because no one wants to hear about failure. Before you follow any advice, ask yourself, how many people tried this and failed, but were never mentioned? Learning from success is good, but don't forget to learn from failure too. But wait! Even when you have all the data, there's still one more trap that makes you deceive yourself without even realizing it. 6. Confirmation bias. When you only believe what you want to believe. Have you ever Googled something like, is exercise really necessary? Is coffee bad for you? Do video games improve cognitive skills? And guess what happens? Great! You find scientific evidence proving that your opinion is 100% correct. But are you really right? Or are you just cherry-picking information to believe what you want to hear? Studies show that people tend to search for, remember, and believe information that supports their existing beliefs, even when it's not true. For example, if you believe that a vegetarian diet is better than eating meat, you'll find countless articles claiming that it helps you live longer and stay healthier. Our brains hate the feeling of being wrong, but accepting that we might be wrong is the key to making better decisions. So next time you face a tough decision, make your choice. And once you do, don't look back.